Hey everybody, I'm here today to talk to you about 5 tips for teen drivers. If you're a teen driver or if you know a teen driver, you should watch this video. Teens are high-risk drivers, and the best thing that you can do as a teen driver or for a teen driver is to limit that risk or minimize that risk. These 5 tips will minimize the risk of a teen driver. Let's get right to it. Tip number 1, put your seatbelt on. You see this thing right here, this seatbelt? This thing saves lives. I cannot emphasize that enough. Okay? Lack of a seatbelt also ruins lives and ends lives. So with that being said, all that you have to do is literally get your seatbelt, and I'm at a stop right here. I'm at a red light. That's why I'm doing this. Get your seatbelt, clip it into place, buckle up. It may just save your life in the unfortunate event of a crash. Okay? It's so simple. Yes, it makes you feel slightly uncomfortable. Yes, it may lower your cool factor by a bit. But I promise you that if you're in the unfortunate event that you get into an accident, whether it's from the front, the back, the side, whichever way, okay, whether it's a minor accident or a major accident, you will be thankful that you're wearing your seatbelt. I promise you that. Just buckle up, wear your seatbelt. Tip number 2, do not drive distracted. Now, driving distracted, whether it's one thing or another, is not a good idea. Whether it's using your phone while you're driving, which is a horrible idea, texting and driving, making phone calls while you're driving, using your hand, okay? Whether it's listening to music too loudly, whether it's looking to the side of the road as you're driving on the highway, driving while distracted is just not a good idea. You are operating a massive heavy vehicle at relatively high rates of speed. So the worst thing that you can do is distract yourself from controlling that vehicle. Focus on the road ahead of you. Focus on driving as much as you can, and you will be able to drive safely if you drive while not distracted. Now, there's nothing wrong, in my opinion, with turning the music on, as long as it's at a volume that you can sort of focus on what's going on. There's nothing wrong with having one passenger talking to you, as long as you can focus on the road. There's nothing wrong with setting up a camera on your windshield to record what you're talking about, because I'm still focusing on the road. So drive well, not distracted. Do not get distracted while you drive. That's another tip. That's the second tip for teen drivers. Tip number 3 is to slow down, okay? Now, as a teen driver, you're driving at a speed that you've pretty much never gone before. When you ride a bike, you might go 20 kilometers an hour, but you're not going to go 100 kilometers an hour on the highway like you will in a car. So it's tempting to drive fast, it's tempting to speed, it's tempting to floor the gas pedal, it's tempting to accelerate really quickly. But those are the worst things that you can do as a teen driver. Now, let me explain this. As a teen driver, you are at the lowest level of driving experience that you will be at in your life, because you pretty much just got your license relatively recently, and you don't have that much experience, and you want to drive fast, which is hard to do even with a lot of experience. So what I would say is slow down, drive the speed limit, work your way up to the speed limit if you are not comfortable driving the speed limit, and so forth. But slow down, know what you can handle with regards to speed, and drive slowly, or I should say drive as fast as you can drive, but not too fast. Don't drive slowly. If the speed limit is 50 kilometers an hour, don't drive 20 kilometers an hour. But what I mean is don't speed, and slow down if you have a habit of speeding. Tip number 4 is limit the number of passengers. Now, I know it's tempting. As a teenager, you may have your license, maybe your friends don't have their licenses yet, so you want to drive a car with 4 passengers, a fully loaded car. It's not a good idea, because those passengers will distract you, whether it's a slight distraction or a major distraction. What I would suggest is work your way up to a higher number of passengers. Start off by driving with 1 passenger. When you get used to that and you're comfortable with that, add another passenger, so drive with 2 passengers. When you become comfortable with that, drive with 3 passengers, then 4 passengers, and then 5, 6, 7 passengers if you have a vehicle that can handle that number of passengers. But limit your number of passengers as a teenager at first and work your way up. Build your driving skill level, okay? It's very, very simple. Tip number 5, and in my opinion, the most important tip in this video, is to keep your eye on the road conditions and keep the road conditions in mind. Right now, I'm driving on dry roads. There's pretty much nothing to worry about in terms of road conditions. They're ideal road conditions. But if it was raining, I would have to slow down. I would have to increase the gap between myself and the car in front of me. I would have to turn slower and make my turns much smoother and so forth, okay? So understand that worse road conditions require adaptations. Things like driving slower, increasing the following distance, making your maneuvers smoother because you lose traction and you lose grip. So whether it's raining, windy, snowing, icy, it doesn't matter. Dark outside, if the road conditions have changed and are not ideal and are not great, then you have to adapt your driving to those road conditions. And that's one of the main things that a lot of teen drivers don't do, because the number of accidents greatly increases when it's raining outside, when it's snowing outside, when it's icy outside, when it's windy outside. So with that being said, I don't want you to be part of that accident statistic. So with that being said, adapt your driving to the road conditions. And that's basically it. In this video, I've gone over 5 tips for teen drivers. If you are a teenage driver, then I would suggest that you use these tips. If you know a teenage driver, share this video with them just to give them a heads up of some of the tips, and then they can use the tips. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Be sure to give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe for more car videos just like this one. And that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching.